Hey guys, Needle here, and today we're looking at Zack Martin, offensive tackle at Notre Dame, 6'4", 308 pounds, and a lot of people projecting him to be a mid-round, first-round pick. I just saw on CBS that they have him sitting at 19 going to the Dolphins, who just signed Brandon Albert, so that's interesting, but I guess they're suggesting that they can take a right tackle, but that's not what we care about. We care about the player. So, why don't we just get right into this? I have a little bit of a cold, so hopefully I won't be too annoying. But we'll be looking at two games versus Michigan State and the bowl game at Neutral Field against Rutgers. Now, first play we have is at 54 seconds. Looking at my notes, and I chose this because we're getting a good angle from the field camera. And typically what I look for in offensive lineman, it's a position I played in college, coached it, I have some pretty good knowledge of it, and I look for weight. Where his weight is, hand placement when he engages the defender. Is he reaching? Is he sitting back too much? What's going on? The thing with the offense tackle is you have to kind of be ready to react to what the defensive end is doing and react accordingly. If he goes to bull rush you, you have to push your weight down and not get taken back too far. If he goes for a speed rush, you can't be caught leaning and stuff like that. Now, typically, a little wider than I really like, but you know what? He's got good weight. He's got good balance. It looks like he's leaning a little bit into the block. Prefer to lead with the hands rather than the shoulder. It's kind of a tough angle to see. We're kind of limited sometimes with these broadcast cameras, but I like that he's able to bench press the guy off of him, create separation. You never want the defender into you. The defender's in you. There's a lot of options. Excuse me. A lot of options of how he can beat you. He can go for a rip under you. He can take you down with him. Just even get a bull rush on you because he has all his weight into you. So, there's an advantage being an offensive lineman having that separation. So bench pressing him off of you is a good thing. Now he re-engages, and that's what you want to keep on seeing. You don't want to see an offensive tackle just have his hands on the defender and keep it that way. A good defender will have a club move and just break your wrists. Come crashing down your wrists. So, you want to engage, with a punch like you see right there. You want to engage like that and then recoil. Hands should be shooting back. Now, the guy was going to knock the ball down, so Zack Martin was trying to keep him down. But if you watch here, he engages, his hands are off, and he re-engages. That's quality. That's good, and that's what you'll see out of Zack Martin. Unfortunately, when we're looking at offensive linemen, I think it's more important to look at their bad plays than their good plays because you get a little bit more out of it. You can sit down and watch this entire tape. 90% of it's going to be good plays. We're going to, it's because this is short, we're not going to sit a long time looking at each and every single play. We're just going to look at the negatives, which is rough. But when we're evaluating, these are things we're going to take into perspective. So, this play I got him reaching. And if you kind of see, his weight's gone. His legs aren't under him. He's reaching out towards the defender, and the defender's able to get past him. Now, this is an out block. Pretty much what it is this guy typically is never going to make the play here because of the positioning where the ball is going. And Zack Martin just kind of wants his ass between him and the football. It's a cutback. So, this guy really should never be able to even have a chance to play. He actually almost does for a moment. I just don't like right here not having his weight under him. This foot needs to be planted to the outside. It's just kind of poor footwork. And because the footwork's poor on a run game, his weight gets distributed wrongly, and we got a guy that's reaching the block instead of, aggressively engaging or just kind of shoving this guy out of the way, which you'll see a lot too. The guy, that's fine. If it's just a cutoff block where you're just shoving the guy out of the way, that's fine. Just don't let him disengage like that. That's just too easy for a tackle for a loss potential. 240 up, get a free play here. Okay. Zack Martin left tackle. And what I didn't like here, as I say, he dropped his head. He does. And what does dropping your head do? He takes an out step. Jesus. Excuse me. He takes an out step, and the guy is cutting underneath him. What ends up happening is he tries to counter that, and when that happens, he drops his head instead of keeping his head up. You're going to block where you're looking. He's looking at the ground. It's a lot tougher to block if you're looking at the ground. He got caught off balance. The guy kind of beat him technique-wise inside because of the stunt. I guess he's pushing out. He's going to push over, or excuse me, 44's pushing in, and the tackle will be pushing out. And tackle, linebacker. And Martin just has to wash him down at this point. But, he kind of put himself in that position because, just, I think, a poor first step. He probably took too far outside step. And the second step, he wasn't able to reestablish himself. And now we got a guy reaching for a block, head down, looking at the ground. Just overall fairly poor form in the run game. And unfortunately, that comes up a lot. His run game blocking is nowhere near the level of his pass game blocking. But what I do like is he rallies here. You know what? He got beat, but he's not going to just give up a free game. He's not going to just stop, look around like, ah, crap, I screwed up. He at least takes the guy and drills him to the ground. Now, did 44 make the play? Kind of. But at least, it didn't just give up on the play. Okay. I'm so sorry, guys, with the cold. That's why I definitely want to get Zack Martin out there, though. Okay, this is a second level play, and the second thing that concerns me is in the run game, I need my offensive lineman to get up on linebackers. That's how we beat down teams in a run game. And I just, he looks rather okay here. Let's just try to back it up a little bit more. I want to see his first step. Okay, his first step is off the line. You want to gain ground. The most important thing with the first step, and especially when you get up to the second level, is you want to gain ground. You want to get a yard off that first step. You want to cheat. Typically, 6-inch steps is what we teach. If you're going for a linebacker, they're faster than you. You know the ball's going to the right side. You're playing left tackle. You got to get to the middle of the field quick. So you take over strides. You never want to understride, you never want to overstride against the defensive tackle because then you're off balance. We saw that in the play where he drops his head. In this situation, he's not engaging someone to the line of scrimmage, so he's able to cheat and take a big step. He does do that. He actually gets out to the linebacker fairly quickly. Now, he doesn't hold the block, which is a little bit concerning, but he did get there, so the athleticism is there. Can you teach the patience at the second level where, much like when you're making a tackle as a defensive secondary player, break down and form tackle, you kind of have to do that with offensive linemen as well. You can't just run wild out to the second level because the linebackers are more athletic than you. You have to play smarter. But the fact that he's able to get out there, get a hat on the guy, that's the most important thing I take from that play. So I wrote that as probably a net positive play to neutral rather than negative because he doesn't stay on the block. And we have one more play from this game. And just looking again at his run game, That's Martin right there. And just, just stuffed at the line of scrimmage. He's not getting his leg drive. This is a good team too. Michigan State was one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the country this year. So, kind of tough for an offensive tackle. It's a tough matchup, especially if physical teams going to play 8 and 9 in the box and make sure you can't run the ball. But I would like to see a first-round pick. I want to see some drive off the line of scrimmage. I want to see him take a defensive tackle, just drive him down the field 4 or 5 yards. Now, how often does that happen, even with their best offensive lineman? Rarely. I mean, I think I've seen Jake Matthews do it once. But, I haven't seen Zach Martin even come close to that type of drive in the couple games I've watched. Now, I've watched them play very strong competition, but, that's what I want to see. So that was Michigan State. Got a couple plays here with Rutgers. We actually get a different camera angle, a little bit higher up there, which is nice. Zack Martin playing left tackle, and again, just his technique is good, form is good in the pass protection. Maybe reaching a little bit. See, his weight isn't fully back, especially against the guy. It looks like he's about the bull rush. It's kind of leaning a little bit, and leaning against the bull rush is typically bad. So, he kind of gets driven back, but he's able to get his feet, nice wide, his hands on them. Got to teach a little raw at times. Again, no drive off the line of scrimmage. So, run game, definitely suspect for a top line guy. Now, if we're comparing him to second rounders, definitely elite, but we're not comparing him to second rounders. He's getting mentioned with top guys right now, and he had a terrific Senior Bowl, which helped. But okay, a little off balance into the play, but overall, this is that cutoff block that we saw him get beat on in the last game. Kind of corrects it, and I just want to relook at just how he corrected himself. Watch this first step. He didn't overstep. He took a 6-inch. His left foot kind of just relocates just a couple inches, just enough that he can reposition himself if this 22 on the defense trying to cut across his face. And he engages him and just kind of rides him out. Little spin move to the inside, whatever. If I'm a tackle, I've won once he tries to do that. Okay, we got 3 more plays to look at. Okay, I always get a little long-winded with the offensive lineman. And just always will happen. So, again, if you look at left tackle, just no drive. And if you were wondering what I was talking about when I say snatch, because I got a few questions about the snatch. This is what a snatch is from defensive lineman. See him pull Zack Martin? That's what we call a snatch. Once a defensive lineman feels an offensive lineman leaning, all his weight coming forward, you just take all that weight and you just push it to the ground. And usually that will be the case. Fortunately, Zack Martin was holding on tightly, so he didn't fall to the ground. But if they're not holding on too tight, you have face plant. So yeah, but again, just no drive off of the line of scrimmage, and we want to see some drive. And that's not saying it didn't happen at all in this game. Remember, we're looking only at a few plays here, 10 plays total, maybe 11 plays. So we're not getting a whole sample. We're just looking at a couple of negative plays that I found, and a couple of positive plays. But with offensive linemen, you only get remembered for the one bad play. You can play 9 good ones, but the one bad one, everyone's going to say you're bad. Because the quarterback got rocked and things didn't go well. This is him pulling, and I like seeing the athleticism. I don't like how he doesn't finish well. He kind of takes a bad angle on at number 3. Again, offensive lineman versus secondary players. It's not the best matchup in the open field, but I do like that he gets around quick. He's able to hit the hole well. Got good vision hitting through the hole. Saw the guy hit the block, just didn't commit to it. as well as I would have liked. And it's a big guy versus a low guy, made an easy pancake and didn't get it. So, little things. You take the positive with the play. He pulled quickly. He hit the hole well. Then there's a little negative at the end. He didn't finish. He did hit the guy, but he didn't finish. And as I've said, we will always finish with a good play. I really like, is it this one? We will watch. Give it a second. Yeah, I kind of like, this is what I liked. So you see the defensive end, the edge rusher is trying to kind of bait Zack Martin into overcommitting to the outside. He's trying to show, hey, I'm going upfield, you want to overcommit here, and then he cuts inside. Zack Martin kind of bit a little bit, but this is the reflexes that I like seeing out of a left tackle. Second that Zack Martin kind of sees, oh crap, I'm going to get beat inside. He just attacks. And that aggressiveness, boom, onto the ground. That's that quick reflex you want to see out of a left tackle reacting that way. That's terrific football right there. And that is just a top-line play. He's getting set up. Defensive, the edge rusher's doing a great job of setting him up front, outside rush. Does a quick move inside. Zack Martin just plants him. Had some help from his buddies on the ground, but hey, I'll give it a pancake if I was grading it. So, overall, we'll talk about the pros and cons real quickly. I know I'm at 17 minutes, it says, so we'll try to do this quick. I think he needs to be more aggressive in the run game. I'm not seeing a whole lot of driving him off the ball, as we said. He has shown some fight after a play. If you watch him, he's willing to take the play maybe a second after a whistle. Typically, that's not a great thing because you're worried about the flags, but for an offensive lineman, he's not doing anything too dirty. He's just kind of containing his block. And I like that a little bit. So it just shows that there is fight in them. We just need to, whoever gets them needs to coach that up so it happens off the line of scrimmage. I think a lot of his problems in the drive blocking is his legs aren't under him. He needs to get his legs under him more. I don't know what he put up in the squad or anything. Maybe his leg strength isn't as strong as his upper body. I think you see some good upper body strength with him. Bench pressing a guy off of him, good hand placement in his blocks. So overall, I was concerned about his run blocking. As we saw, a little concerned about second level ability, but that can be coached. Better angles. Pass game, I think he looks a lot smoother. That's where his pros come in. It's a lot smoother in pass game. His footwork, as we saw, overall pretty solid. That one mishap when trying to reach block, but he corrects it. And the ability to correct is always more important than anything else, because that there's room to grow. His hand placement and blocking, we saw him from that behind the back look. He got his hands on the inside of the defender, was able to kind of control him a little bit, engages on a pass block, then recoils and re-engages. All good things. And he was quick on his pull. So, a lot to like. He's raw comparatively to the top tier guys. Not as raw as, I would say, Greg Robinson. I think he looks a little bit more cleaner in the pass protection. Not as, obviously, dominant in the run game. But I think he's a raw player, which is odd coming from Notre Dame because you'd think, Midwest football and all that. Though, so I think there's room to grow for him, which is a terrific thing for a team to draft. And, still too early for me to put together a true value board and where they're going to draft. But if someone said to me this is a mid-first round prospect, I sit down and watch him. Nothing jumps out at me saying no way. I like what I've seen. There's a lot of coaching points for him. I don't think it's so much inability rather than just need to coach him up a little bit. So that's Zack Martin. Notre Dame. Again, thank you, draftbreakdown.com, for the videos, so I can commentate over them. That's terrific. And again, got a request from LaMarcus Joyner, and then a few others. So I know there was some concern that there's not an all 22. That's true. It is tough to do cornerbacks and safeties. But you know what? I have no problem trying. If it's a short video, just go out there and say, hey, there's only 6 plays really to look at, 'cause 6 plays you see them, and we can try and evaluate what we get. So it can't hurt to just look at them. But I'll make a list, and I think next is Sammy Watkins. That was the next person I was asked to do. So Watkins should be coming out, next couple days. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.